Everything was exotic, from black flies to logging roads, but the most exotic of all was our gravity-fed spring. It was 2,600 feet from the house, across a really big field and up a really steep hill. Ralph Weeks was our neighbor, and he was a dowser. He went with me up that steep hill to help me find the cedar spring box. Houghton Kate was our electrician. He opined that maybe we should put a trout in the spring box to eat little creatures and bugs that might get in the spring line. A trout, I said, but wouldn't it die eventually? Well, of course, everything dies, doesn't it? Well, how will I know if it's died? Oh, you'll know. I passed on the trout. So the spring was pretty dodgy for a long time. We'd lose our water for a day or two, and then it would come back. And we learned how to leave a stream going into the bathtub on really cold nights. And then in the spring of 1980, my husband was away teaching at Syracuse, and my son was away at college, leaving me with 3 girls, 16, 11, and 9. So in February of that spring, I got up one morning to make coffee, turned on the faucet, nothing came out. Annoying, but not too worrisome. It'll come back in a day or two. After several days of no water, I realized that it was gone for the duration. You know, I'm well aware that many people in the world do not have fresh water coming into their house. But as first world problems go, it can be a challenge. So we got our routines in place. I bought 2 of those red plastic 5-gallon tubs, and I started getting water in the spring going down into Hardwick or in the spring up in Johnson. We learned that the water has priorities. First is drinking, making tea, cooking. The rest of the water has a hierarchy. First is washing dishes, cleaning off the counter, then cleaning out the guinea pig cage, and finally, watering the plants. We learned really quickly that cooking and cleaning up after spaghetti was not worth it. Our dinners devolved into sandwiches and cereal. The girls also had their tasks. Every day one of them went down the bank to the creek with a shovel, broke through the ice, got buckets to feed the horse. Yes, we had a horse, and man, did he drink a lot. We tried melting snow, but you know how that works. They also filled up the dog and cat's water dishes, and they filled the back of the toilet. They learned a lot about plumbing. They often procrastinated that job until after it was dark, and then another sister would have to go with them and swing a flashlight to help them find their way through the snow. The hardest thing was showers and shampoos. The girls all had long hair. I took showers at Johnson State. The 16-year-old often took showers at U32. The 2 younger girls were really stuck. I bought a product called Psst that you spray into the hair. It makes a dry powder, and then you brush it out. It's really awful. We all hated it. The Holiday Inn in Waterbury ran a special one Sunday night, $25 for a room. We were so excited. I signed us up. We got over there. We turned on the faucet in the bathtub, and a little trickle came out. I went down to the front desk to explain that we needed another room. And while I was standing there talking to them, I suddenly put my head down on the counter and burst into tears. We were all very surprised. I thought I had it all together. But mostly we went up the hill, up Shed Road, Sand Hill Road, to Salony Lane Alfano's to take showers. One Sunday night in April, we came out of the Alfano's house. I just couldn't face going down that hill. It was very slippery and icy, and it's very cliffy. So I thought I would go up along the East Hill Ridge and down into East Calais Village. So we got up on the ridge, and it had been snowing and drifting across the road, so there was a big drift of snow. But I had a big old station wagon. I thought, I can take this. So I gunned the car, totally hung up on the snow. Nothing to do but walk down the road to a farmhouse, call Sal to come and rescue us. As we're walking down that moonlit road, I couldn't make out what that strange sound was. Finally realized the girl's hair had all turned to icicles and it was tinkling like miniature wind chimes. The hardest part was explaining to Sal why I had made that decision. So we went on. After that, we walked up to the Alfanos on Sundays, singing Dona Nobis Pacem in rounds to distract us from how cold we were. So this one all went on for 12 weeks. One day in May, I came home laden down with my water. Girls were all in the kitchen and they had odd looks on their faces. And I finally realized it was water coming out of the kitchen faucet. What a day. What a gift. Well, 13 years later, I was living in the farmhouse with my second husband, and it happened again. He was a New York City boy, but he was the absolute soul of patience and tolerance with this problem. Whereas I, who knew the drill, complained relentlessly for 9 weeks straight. And then, in March, we put in a well. Thank you.